I think from an investor side of the fence, one of the things that was really challenging with what we were doing is that we were building a big physical product, something that really only nation states or large organizations have ever done. Think Japanese or Chinese high-speed rail. Think about Siemens, building something. This is venture capital money. They're not patient. They want faster timelines. They want larger deployments. You could kind of look at the economics, and it's a tough economic problem. And we had to reinvent. I mean, we reinvented the technology probably 4 or 5 times to get there. We had to continually reinvent the business model because the economics were good, probably 10, 15, 20 times to get to something that provided economic returns. And the part that was the most difficult that we had is my money as an investor is is fungible. I can put it in a Hyperloop, I could put it in a software company, I could put it in the stock market, whatever. Why should I take your bet that's going to be 3, 4, 5, 6 years with potentially really large returns when I can take 2 or 3 other bets and potentially have better returns in a shorter period of time, risk adjusted? And that's a really tough place to be, is that, like, yeah, we're not a software company. And in a way, you almost felt like you were apologizing for the type of company that you were. It's like, we're a big hardware company. You look at SpaceX, you look at Tesla, you look at some of these companies really taking 10, 15, 20 years to get to where they are today. We were trying to go from a garage to grandma's in 10 years. And that's challenging, but that's still farther than just about 95% of the investment opportunities that are out there. And so that's hard, is like, how do you get people on board with that?
I am very, very, very happy you talked about just the long-term patient capital that is needed to build this sort of breakthrough tech um, infrastructure. Having spent a lot of time in my life thinking about this, the types of investors have to be right? Because this is not a sure thing. It's extremely long-term, right? It's like you got to put your money in, and lots of it before possibly more than a decade, right, to see any returns. But yet, if it works, it's enormous, and it's very radical in its nature. It can't be for venture capitalists who want incremental returns. It's not a sure thing, and I'm glad to hear that you have investors who can think that way, because I feel like those types of investors are far and few between. So taking the moonshot, different sort of mindset.
For every 10 investors that exist, actually for maybe every 100 investors that exist, there might be 2 or 3 that have the patience and the pocketbooks willing to deal with this type of timeline.